it's Justin. Thank you for watching and welcome to my house. It's time for another ServiceNow Store highlights video. That's SSH 12152023. That's December 15th, 2023. Almost it's a third to last episode of 2023. In this one, we've got a bigger than normal episode. It looks like there are a bunch of fixes that came out from the ServiceNow team. So we've got 112 new or updated applications in this episode. Let's go ahead and look at that breakdown for this week's episode and check it out. We've got 4 compatibility updates, all to Vancouver, 64 fixes, and you'll see when we get to this, that's mostly ServiceNow, 15 highlights and 14 minor updates, 9 new releases, and 6 release notes fails. Let's jump right into those categories and we'll check out the compatibility updates first. Again, this is to Vancouver. We've got Agile Decision Engine, IBM Security Verify Service Desk, Martello IQ, formerly known as Savision IQ. Hope I'm pronouncing those right. If I'm not, leave me a comment down below. And Stave Data Tools all had compatibility updates to Vancouver. There were 64 fixes. Look at all that. ServiceNow, ServiceNow, ServiceNow. Let's go ahead and show all of them. We'll run through them right quick. Admin Center, ArcSite ESM Event Ingestion for Security Operations, CMDB and CSDM Data Foundations Dashboards, CMDB Workspace, Common Service Delivery, sorry, I went too far, Data Loss Prevention Incident Response, DEX Application and Device Health, Discovery and Service Mapping Patterns, DLP Incident Response Integrations with Microsoft and Symantec, Enterprise Architecture Workspace, Finance Common Architecture, GitLab Spoke, Group Life Servicing, Guided Decisions Guidance, HR Service Delivery Advanced Integration with Oracle HCM, HR Service Delivery Integration with Oracle HCM. Is that the same thing? No, Advanced Integration and the regular integration. Insurance Claims Core, KPI Composer, McAfee EPO Integration for Security Operations. Now to page 2, Microsoft Active Directory version 2 spoke, Microsoft Azure Automation spoke, Microsoft Azure DevOps Board spoke, Microsoft Azure Sentinel Incident Ingestion Integration for Security Operations, Microsoft Exchange Online for Security Operations, Microsoft Exchange Online spoke, Microsoft Intune spoke, Navex Ethics Point spoke, Notify Connector for Microsoft Teams, Personal Line Servicing, Plan Maintenance Management, Planned Work Management, Playbook Experience Components, Portfolio Planning Core, Process Mining Workspace Components, Procurement Case Management, Qualtrics spoke, and Recommended Actions. They are in the fixing mood over there at ServiceNow. Next up, Risk Assessments Integration for Sourcing and Procurement Operations, SAP Ariba spoke, SAP S4HANA IDOC spoke and RFC spoke, Scrum Common Security Incident Response Integration with Zscaler, Security Incident UI Card Component, Service Graph Connector for Rapid7, Service Graph Connector for Integration for Clarity CTD, Service Mapping Plus, Service Operations Workspace Alert Management, Express List, and ITOM apps all got fixes. ServiceNow Voice with Amazon Connect, Source to Pay Workspace, SuccessFactors spoke, Visibility Content, Vulnerability Emergency Response, Vulnerability Response and Configuration Compliance for Containers, and Vulnerability Response Integration with Veracode. Last on the list, only 4, Vulnerability Response, Patch Orchestration, Workday HR spoke, Workplace Space Management, and Zoom spoke. My goodness, ServiceNow, you have been busy. So that is the fixes category. Some were just little tiny fixes and some were pretty significant, like lengthy amount of defects that were fixed in those. So if you're using any of those, you'll probably want to go check and see if it's a good time to update to those in your instance. All right, now for less of a mouthful, we've got some minor updates also coming mostly from ServiceNow. Access Management Automation, Commercial Lines Claim, Cornerstone Spoke, Financial Services Operations Integration with FRISS, Health and Safety Components, Health and Safety Incident Management, Health and Safety Incident Management, OSHA Content Pack, Integration Hub Usage Dashboards, ITOM Cloud Services Core, Meeting Extensions for Microsoft Teams, MISP Integration for Security Operations, Personal Line Claims, Service Graph Connector for Run 0, and Sourcing and Procurement Operations Integration with SAP. Again, all minor updates, meaning there were just some minor tweaks or enhancements not worth really highlighting. And lastly, for the rundown is the release notes fails. We had Kyndryl Integration, Azure DevOps, Service Bridge Base, Service Bridge Remote Process Sync Transport, Skybox CX1 CTI, Transporter, and workplace access and security. If you haven't seen the show before, a release notes fail is that I can't tell you what's new or changed in the release or this new version. The version changed, but there's no good release notes, or they're repeated release notes, or they're empty. So that's the deal with those, which brings us to our highlights. We've got not our highlights, our new releases. We've got 9 new releases this week. Topping off the list is going to be Cisco, wait for it, Cisco Customer Smart Bonding. Connect customer ServiceNow instances to Cisco TAC, or Technical Assistant Support. They used to call it TAC. TAS. Key features: it allows customers to create, update, and close tickets in Cisco TAC, as well as stay informed of any updates from the Cisco TAC support team. The customer will be able to create a TAC case directly from an incident in ServiceNow, and it's intended to do the following: create Cisco TAC cases from customer incidents via the Cisco task form, keep TAC cases and customer cases in sync. They've got screenshots. Let's take a look at one of those. We've got a Cisco task form in the legacy UI, an incident form also in the legacy UI. I'll call your attention to the top. There's a UI action for create Cisco task. Next screenshot is the Cisco Customer Smart Bonding connection properties. And again, like I think it was Cisco last week, put all their stuff in there. So you can go connect to Cisco Prod and put all the details in there. That's interesting. Next screenshot is back to the Cisco task. So that's the new release from the team at Cisco Systems Incorporated. Next up is going to be Foundation Data Sync from ServiceNow. This is part of a bigger application. Define and share foundational data from your provider into your own ServiceNow instance. Key features: it's the core plugin for Foundation Data Sync, used to enable and support the key features of Foundation Data Sync for providers and consumers. You may have heard this referenced as Service Bridge in previous releases, but let's keep going. There's a Foundation Data Sync for consumers and providers. Let's click on one of them because I have a feeling it's going to be the same. Not a bunch of new information, but that's 3 new releases from the ServiceNow team. Actually, this is a little bit different. So on the consumer side, Foundation Data Sync for consumers, the key features: quickly request data from your connected providers. Consumers can receive and request predefined foundational data offerings from their providers with a built-in request mechanism. Ensure the data meets your IRE, or Identification and Reconciliation Engine, rules before accepting. Once requested, providers can send you a test sampling that can be tested against the IRE rules for your instance. If the data meets your standards, you can then accept the subscription and start receiving the initial seed of data along with updates. No screenshots on this one, but for thoroughness, let's check out the one for providers. This is on the other end, right? We were just on the consumer end, consuming data. Now for the providers, the key features are: create and publish an offering, define the data that you as a provider want to share with the Service Bridge customer, or consumer, receive and manage offering requests. Customers with Foundation Data Sync for consumers, which we just saw, can request that offering from their ServiceNow instance. And then lastly, refine, validate, and send the data with the subscription items. Once requested, Foundation Data Sync will pre-generate the subscription items defined in the offering, which can then be filtered further by the provider if desired. When ready, a provider can test and validate the data sharing before sending in full. No screenshots on that one. Let's head over to the non-ServiceNow new release. This is going to be HECVAT, or HECVAT Questionnaire for Higher Education. Comprehensive HECVAT questionnaire template that is higher education focused. Key features: Templar Shield's plugin for ServiceNow's third-party risk management solution empowers higher education institutions to seamlessly integrate the HECVAT questionnaire. This tool facilitates the efficient assessment and management of vendor cybersecurity risks, ensuring compliance with higher education specific standards and streamlining the vendor evaluation process within the ServiceNow system. So it's a higher education focused questionnaire, leverage existing ServiceNow VRM, TPRM solution, that's vendor risk management, third-party risk management solution, and dashboarding to enable risk-based decision making. We do have screenshots on this one. First up is a dashboard showing risk ratings by categories, all HECVAT categories, and HECVAT full summary report. Vertical bar graph. Next up is the questionnaire, looks like in the portal, showing the different sections and the actual questions. And then we have another dashboard showing assessments for the year by vendor, risk ratings by categories, and then all categories. And we're back to the original dashboard screenshot for that one. And that's what's new from Templar Shield Incorporated. Next up Also not a ServiceNow app, KPMG Clinical Device Management, giving healthcare providers a pragmatic solution for comprehensive device lifecycle management. Let's scroll down to the key features on this one. On the functional side, increase clinical asset data accuracy and improve the experience for clinicians and technicians, reduce risk by proactively managing patient care devices and associated contracts, I believe that should say. Improved automation and time savings. On the technical side, mobile-enabled technology makes scans for devices easier for clinicians and for the technicians to record. Integrations with ECRI and discovery tools make the process automated. Let's scroll up, and we have no screenshots on this one, so that's what's new from KPMG LLP. Next up on our list of new releases, another non-ServiceNow application. This is going to be Neuron7.ai Resolution Intelligence. Resolves issues faster in customer/field service and technical support. Key features: Neuron7.ai generated resolution intelligence, utilizing clients' historical data and Neuron7's AI and machine learning to create customized LLMs. This product helps diagnose issues based on technician identified observations and providing inferences of resolution actions to resolve the given issue. This technology is placed directly within the CSM environment for end users to have AI technology at their fingertips within case management. It does require customer service management to install this application. It looks like we've got some graphics. Create a smart resolution repository with Neuron7, showing some structured and unstructured data, expert knowledge, outputting to issue type, optimal routing, resolution steps, incoming cases mapped to bug fixes, and new issues and alerts by product model. Another graphic showing what it makes possible. Analyze service data from any source, diagnose and resolve service issues in seconds, and generate knowledge with every interaction. And then that's it. Those are the two graphics for this new application from Neuron7 Incorporated. Next on the list is going to be Protiviti Accelerator for SOX and internal audit, and it enhanced visibility across control environments and streamlined tracking of SOX compliance. Key features on the functional side: SOX process repository, controls repository, process narrative documentation, PBC requests and evidence, controls testing, and control gaps identification and remediation. On the technical side, they're going to give you workspaces, flows, and platform scripting. No screenshots on that one, so headed off to our last one from StrongDM. It is going to be the StrongDM application, streamlining access requests for secure infrastructure management. Key features: it allows StrongDM customers to manage access requests to their StrongDM resources through ServiceNow. Access workflows must be enabled on your StrongDM account. Users can only request access to resources they are assigned to. Access requests are created directly in ServiceNow, and flow actions are provided to view a user's access catalog, submit requests to StrongDM, and revoke access. Let's take a look at their screenshots. First is a request form being completed by Able Tutor for authorized personnel to request access to resources through the StrongDM platform. Next up is the view when you submit a request, kind of seeing it from the end user side. Maybe add some attachments or work notes or see additional details. Next screenshot is showing the application menu for the StrongDM integration, consisting of tables and administration submenus. Next screenshot is a list of resources. It looks like these are, what are they? I don't know, Kubernetes resources and some stuff, some configuration items. And that's it. Back to the request form, and that is what's new from StrongDM. And the final new application on our list, which brings us to the highlights. We've got 15 highlights for you here. Let's jump into those. First up on the list is CMDB CI class models, updated to version 1.53.0. And my friends, I am not going to read this one or I won't have a voice left, but essentially, there are new classes that are not receiving new attributes, non-CMDB tables, related items added to the default class forms, related lists added to classes, IRE rules, and sys auto flush table cleaner to the API endpoint discovered table to remove data that's 30 days older than the last updated date. So that's all new functionality in this application. Changed access control lists for these classes now include the CMDB read role, enabling users with CMDB read role to read the classes. And they list a bunch of classes there. And then there's some fixes. They fixed some things, and there's some fixes. Username attribute, core inventory agent rule and network topologies IRE rule were all some fixes in this release. So they called it a minor release. I included it in the highlights because that's a lot going on, and you may want to go take a look at what's new in that application. Next up from DXC is going to be the facility management application updated to version 2.2.0, and this one they bring us improvements on preventative maintenance, including cloning of maintenance plans, grouping of maintenance plans, and register costs for maintenance plans. Small improvements on ART management, product management, and vendor portal, and bug fixing on topics such as space reservations, event management, project management, visit parking, and facility order management. Next on our list from Juniper Networks is going to be the Juniper Mist Automated Provisioning updated to version 1.1.0, and in this version they've added new actions, subflows to clone Mist templates, and added x_June_Mist_spoke_Mist_templates_variables table to store variable names extracted from Mist templates. I just wanted to read that one aloud. Next on the list from ServiceNow is going to be RPA Hub. I haven't seen this one updated in a minute, or it hasn't made my radar in a minute. Updated to version 7.0.0, and in this one, on the new side of things, they have access the help center that is now available in the RPA Hub instance. Ensure data privacy when you pass sensitive information through the queues, view automation logs in RPA Hub, and stop the bot process gracefully by enabling the graceful stop toggle switch in stop process section of the RPA Hub. On the change side, on Assign Studio Users tab in RPA Hub, you can add users to utilize the robots from the RPA Desktop Design Studio. When RPA Hub components are used in automation in Studio, you define the unintended bot processes and robot in the Assign Bot Process section. And you can enable a property, system property that is, to filter the robots assigned to the bot process based on the machine name. So significant changes there. So that made the highlights. Also, the RPA plugin bundle had some significant updates and made the highlights. It got updated to version 7.0.1. And in this one, on the new side, you can use the graceful stop component in RPA automations, convert local variables to global variables, locate web UI elements and use this located element to design the automation using the XPath locator, select shadow DOM elements. The ability to drag and drop automation items such as components, variables, and activities are now enhanced for easier modification of automations. And on the change side, previously you were able to select an unintended bot process and view all the robots assigned to it. Due to this, you were able to access sensitive information from other robots. Starting from Vancouver, an RPA developer or administrator can view and select only the assigned robots for unintended processes. Log component of RPA Desktop Design Studio is moved from the general section of the toolbox to RPA Hub. The log component now sends messages to new table automation logs in RPA Hub instead of updating the messages to the log files in your local machine. And starting from Vancouver, Connection Manager is launched when you start RPA Desktop Design Studio. RPA Desktop Design Studio is launched only after you authenticate your connection using the Connection Manager. Next on our list of highlights, this is coming from SailPoint. It's the SailPoint IDN for Service Catalog, updated to version 3.1.0. And let's see, in this version, I got to look at the previous version. All right, so what's new is here in the middle. Version 3.1, Access Items Search with Entitlement Owner. They've included the ability to search through access items using the related entitlement owner. There's no additional setup needed to use the feature, and upgraded API. We upgraded their API endpoints. They upgraded their API endpoints to, I had nothing to do with it, to use more stable APIs, and there's no additional setup needed from customers to use the upgraded stable APIs. Next on our list of highlights is going to be SAP S4 HANA something spoke, OData spoke. It was updated to version 1.1.0. I flip-flopped on this one, like whether I include this as a minor update or a highlight. I went with a highlight because there's 5 more actions, but I don't know what the actions are. So you may be interested. They're calling it a minor release, but if you're using that spoke, 5 more actions sounds like Christmas time, and you might find something cool that you want to upgrade to this new version of the spoke. Next on the list, all of our Service Bridge stuff, which we kind of covered in the previous one on the new releases. This is going to cover a little bit of that, so I think we can move through these quickly. Basically, one application has been determined legacy. That's a Service Bridge, now has legacy in the title. Updated to version 3.2.6, and this one, the application is now legacy and replaced by the Service Bridge for Consumers application that we just saw in the new releases, but there are 2 fixes for 2 problems. Next up, also related, is the Service Bridge for Consumers, Service Bridge for Providers, and they've legacified, I don't know, it's not a word. the Service Bridge for Providers application. I won't click on those and waste your time. Let's open up the Service Graph connector for OpenTelemetry. That was updated version 1.3.0, and in this version they've added mapping of a Kubernetes cluster UID from OpenTelemetry to the corresponding CMDB attribute in the Kubernetes cluster, and they've updated references of Lightstep to Cloud OBS or Observatory in various places, updated link on alert rule to read as Cloud Observability instead of OpenTelemetry, and they've updated the guided setup to include the Cloud Observability setup instructions in the ServiceNow Cloud Observability setup article in the Now Support knowledge base. Next up is going to be SN-Docs. This is one of those component applications that's under the hood. I included it because it was interesting. They updated version 1.0.3, and in this version they've disabled the comments feature, disabled the template, create a page from a template, save a page as a template, and add an inline template feature, and they fixed the page read-only mode was not working as expected. That seems significant to me to include in the highlights. If you're wondering what the heck this is, collaborate and create rich text documents in real time with team members within strategic portfolio management. So that's the application, sub-application of SPM that's getting updated or changed. Next up on the list is from Tanium. It's the Tanium CI Introspect UI. It was updated version 1.2.3, and in this version there's major performance improvements. Timeout should be a thing of the past. Make sure to update to the latest version of Tanium Integration Core and double check the guided setup and settings pages, then upgrade to this version of Introspect. So that's what's new from Tanium. And last on our list of highlights is going to be the vulnerability response integration with CISA or CISA, updated to version 1.3.1. And in this version, the first.org EPSS integration is introduced in this release. This integration enhances the National Vulnerability Database, or NVD, vulnerability entries by populating information such as EPSS score, EPSS percentile, and EPSS last modified. These values roll up seamlessly from NVD entry to the score corresponding third-party entry. And that, my friends, is our entire episode. Let's just go over real quickly what you just saw or heard. 9 new releases, 15 highlights, 4 compatibility updates, 14 minor updates, 64 fixes, and 6 release notes fails. Don't forget, a list of all these applications are posted on my blog, justin.house. Just type into your browser, justin.house, and it'll go there, and you can see all of these applications in their categories, and you can click on them, and they'll take you to the ServiceNow store. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, please subscribe, or share it with somebody who you think might be interested in what's new or what got updated in the ServiceNow store. And until next time, don't forget to always be learning.